Greetings, YouTubers out there. This is Wertac. I wanted to show a few pieces that I've been doing. Actually, I've already shown this one. I refer to it as the Bigfoot biface, and I learned quite a bit actually working on this. Since it was so large, it seemed like I had to kind of change my technique a little bit in order just to clear it. But funny story, when I first initially posted the Bigfoot biface on YouTube, what ended up happening was I started getting all these hits and really fast. And my wife pointed out that when you say Bigfoot biface, people are going to assume that it's literally a biface made by Bigfoot. And so all the crazies came out and started on the, oh my gosh, it's proof of Bigfoot. Well, no, it wasn't. It was just, I'm just trying to describe it. So I've done a few more pieces since the Bigfoot sized biface, and you know, the reality is that quite frankly, obsidian is a heck of a lot easier to work, and so my pieces that I do in obsidian can be so much larger simply because I don't get fatigued as much. But since doing this one, and I don't know if we can see this really well, but you know, there's hinges and little spots like this one that I couldn't get out, and if you look at it carefully, I don't know how well this is going to show up, you can see the flow lines, and it's very difficult sometimes to traverse those flow lines. But since doing this, I've worked a little bit of rainbow, and I've actually got a couple pieces here. I'm not too sure how well these are going to show up. I wanted to show them in sunlight because they tend to be more brilliant. But this one, I mean, I really hit it up the ballpark. Really no hinges to speak of, no flaws. I haven't done the final shaping of it, but cleared both sides, and I really like the results. And it's pretty big. I mean, it's 5 inches wide, closer to 5 1/4. Not as long as the other one, but it turned out just great. So I like the flake pattern, and I like the look of it. You know, after a while, you kind of have to wonder, why would you make something so large? I mean, it really is just for art. So, and probably showing off a little bit. But this piece, you know, I really learned from the Bigfoot piece how to make a nice, good flake pattern just from percussioning, and how to avoid things like hinging and some of the uglier aspects of not quite clearing the piece that you want. But maybe I'll do a video later on exactly what I learned and how I figured out how to do this. Here's another piece of rainbow. It's a little bit smaller. Like I said, I hope this shows up. This one has a little bit more purple into it, and I think it's a little bit more brilliant. The trick is, of course, you know, really seeing it in person is probably better. But this is another example, and I think this has a little bit better color to it than the larger one here. Here's another piece of obsidian. You know, I started to put a few notches in it, and I just kind of got fatigued and decided to stop. It's interesting. I started pressure flaking it, and it just wasn't going for me. It seems like some of these materials, it's just better to use enough force, like in a percussion hit, to bring the most out of a piece of rock. And so this is a piece that I'm thinking of sending off. Somebody asked for some of my work, and I was kind of busy, and so I think this is a pretty good representative piece of the percussion work that I do, and it's fairly thin. But anyway, I am still working the flint. I really like flint just for a variety of reasons, and you know, the funny thing is, when I'm working flint, I don't cut myself as much, but when I do, it's awful. But when I'm working obsidian, it's like, it's just asking to bleed, and I don't have a problem with bleeding per se. It's just that when your hands get slippery, it really ruins your you know, your work, because you're concentrating on trying to hit the rock, but you're slipping because of the blood and all that stuff. And it's funny because you just don't care after a while. You just get used to that being part of it. But the flint itself, I don't tend to get hurt as badly when I'm working with it, and the fact that it's so much harder than the obsidian makes it a bit of a challenge. But I think the general public views it as boring. You know, it's not as colorful, it's not as interesting. But this really dark, what they would refer to as oil chert or flint from Texas, I always love this material. I think it's really cool, and I think this really represents what I would expect from an artifact. You know, you're walking out in the field, this is what you find. So here's a piece of local variety obsidian, Kilgore area. I don't know if the stripes show up. Indoors, you don't see anything. It just looks black. But under direct sunlight, you see this banding that's moving this way. Again, you know, it's hard to say whether or not the camera's picking this up or not, but I figured I'd show it off. So this is what's going on with me. You know, trying out, working on some obsidian. You know, I normally start off with this. I'll start off with flint, and then when I get tired, then I move on to obsidian, and I can get more pieces out of a, you know, out of a work day. So, but this is what I'm up to, and I've learned quite a bit. It's an evolving process. I've said that before. It's sort of like, you know, you gotta mess up a rock to learn, and I didn't mess this one up. This one came out just great, and so far at any rate. And so we'll see what I end up with. But you know, there's no pterodactyls to really hunt anymore, so I'm not exactly sure what I'll do with it. So anyway, this is Wertac signing off.